Switch on your videos so that I can see you. And let's start today's class. Yeah,
Okay,
also
ma'am, one
the
second.
focus mode is switched on, so nobody else can see your video apart from me. So feel free to switch on your videos.
Okay, ma'am, 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
ma'am.
as I understand, yes. Are you saying something? Okay, see, currently in the class 12 batch, the chapter human reproduction is going on. So I'm just going to give you a quick, you can say, rundown or explain up till where I'm teaching right now, because you will be added to the new batch, right? So, okay, so shall I start? Are you people sitting with your notebook and your pen? Okay, so moving forward, talking about the human reproduction chapter. How are you, Khadija?
I'm fine. How are you?
I am also good. So you people, like, how is class 12 treating you?
It's interesting.
Interesting. What chapter is going
Yeah.
currently in your school?
We just started human reproduction.
Okay. And how did this thing, sexual reproduction in plants go?
Uh, it was good,
Good.
except the megasporogenesis and all. That's a little confusing.
Yeah, you've joined late. What happened?
My parents were like, they'll put me in offline classes, and then I was like, no, I'll continue. And then they took some convincing, and then they were like, okay, fine. So
Okay. Like, I think this is like better, like doing class
yeah,
online is better than doing it offline, because you won't have to go somewhere. You'll sit
yeah,
at your home and you'll study, isn't it? All right.
yeah.
Okay. Iqra, can you also speak something? Can you introduce yourself to me? Because I already know Khadija.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Yeah, ma'am. I'm new. This is my first bio class with you,
Okay, yeah.
and ma'am, I was about to start my portion, but I came to know about this online platform, so I joined this.
Okay. So, like in your school, which chapter is going on for biology?
Ma'am, actually, I didn't did offline classes. It's online only from 11th class.
All right. So you are doing non-attending schooling.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay, okay. All right. So in my current batch, I am doing like I'm teaching human reproduction. Now this chapter is you can say in a lot of depth, and there are multiple technicalities in this chapter, but we'll go one by one through it and we'll discuss each and everything out of it. Now, laying out some ground rules. Wherever you people have doubts, you have to ask me. Anything that troubles you, you have to ask me, and you can't sit quiet. And if I ask questions, then you have to answer. That is it. That is it. All right. Now moving forward, see, under the human reproduction, there are certain steps that happen, and this is the, you can say, set steps that are going to happen. Firstly, there will be gametogenesis, that is formation of gametes. Then after that, there will be insemination. Insemination means that just like how pollination happens in plants, same way, the male gamete has to be transferred to the female gamete. That is insemination. Then there is fertilization. The male gamete has to fuse with the female gamete to form a zygote. Now, after that zygote has been formed, since we are talking about humans, the zygote has to get implanted into the female's body. That is implantation. That is attaching of the zygote at a certain place, more particularly in the uterus. Then there is gestation. Now, gestation is the time period of the pregnancy. And after that, there is the delivery of the baby, which is known as parturition. So we're going to study each and every single step that I have mentioned here. Now, to begin with, let us talk about the male reproductive system. Now, the male reproductive, just like how there is a male reproductive system, there is a female reproductive system, and it has certain components of it that we are going to study. Now, talking about the male reproductive system, so it is present in the pelvis region, meaning in the pelvic area. Now, what are the components? So a pair of testes, meaning two testes are there, then associated accessory ducts, certain ducts that help in the transfer of the gamete, those ducts are there. Then there is the presence of the male reproductive glands, such as the prostate gland, the seminal vesicle, and lastly, there is the external genitalia, that is the part of the reproductive system that is visible externally. Now, talking about the testes are known as the primary sex organ of male. Primary sex organ. Now, in general, primary sex organ means the organ that is responsible for the formation of gametes. The sole purpose is to make the gametes. That is why they are known as primary sex organ. So, in the case of males, the primary sex organ is the testes, and in the case of females, the primary sex organ is the ovary. Okay, both of them will form the male and the female gametes. Now, the testes are situated outside abdominal cavity within a pouch that is known as scrotum. Now, the testes in the case of males, they are situated outside their body. Now, there is a very great reason behind this. Now, see, the scrotum is present outside the body to maintain the low temperature of the testes. Like our normal body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius from the inside, right? Now, for the formation of sperm, that is spermatogenesis, 2 to 2.5 degrees Celsius lower than the normal body temperature is required. That is lower than 37 degrees Celsius temperature is required. Now, this lower temperature actually facilitates in the formation of sperm. Now, if the testes will be present inside the body, the sperm will not be formed because it will be constantly 37 degrees Celsius. So that is why, to maintain the low temperature, the testes, which is covered by the scrotum, is present outside the body. Now, a lower temperature of the testes is necessary for the spermatogenesis, that is formation of sperm, 2 to 2.5 degrees Celsius lower than the body temperature. Now, talking about the dimensions. So, in an adult, each testes is oval in shape. The length is 4 to 5 centimeters. The width is 2 to 3 centimeters. This is all the dimension. Now, the testes is covered by a dense covering. It is protected by a dense covering. Now, inside the testes, there are certain compartments that are 250 in number. For example, if this is the testes, now inside there will be 250 compartments. And these compartments are known as the testicular lobule. Okay, so testicular lobules are the compartments that are present inside the testes. Now, each lobule, meaning each of those 250 compartments, they contain 1 to 3 highly coiled seminiferous tubules. So, if this is the testes and these were the compartments that are 250 in number, now inside them 1 to 3 highly coiled seminiferous tubules are there. Now we are going even more towards the inside. Each of the seminiferous tubule is lined by 2 types of cells on the inside. Now, you people know the difference between lining and covering. If any layer is present on the outside, then that is a covering. And if any layer is present from the inside, then that is a lining. For example, if this is the hand, if any layer is present here, then we'll call it as the covering. If any layer is present towards the inside, then that is the lining. So talking about the lining of the seminiferous tubule, it has 2 types of cells that are present on the inside. First is the male germ cells that are also known as spermatogonia, male germ cells. And second cells are the Sertoli cells. So the seminiferous tubule, it is lined by 2 types of cells. Moving forward, the male germ cells, these are of prime importance because they are the only ones that will give rise to the sperms. Sperm are the male gamete, right? Now, the male germ cells form these sperms that are haploid by the process of meiosis. Now, you people tell me, do you know what meiosis is?
Meiosis is the reductional division.
Reductional division. And at the end of meiosis, what kind of cells are formed?
Haploid.
Haploid cells. Ikra, is that clear to you also? You
Yes,
know the
ma'am.
difference between mitosis and meiosis?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, switch on your video, show me your face. How will I know? How will I recognize you? So at the end of meiosis, the cells that are formed are haploid in nature. Now, and everyone knows why the gametes are haploid?
Yeah.
Why?
Or when like they fuse male and female gamete, so that they'll have the normal number of cells
That
after
is different.
fusion. Yeah.
Very good. Now, the Sertoli cells perform the function of providing nutrition to the germ cells. So the two types of cells, one of them will be forming the sperm, the other one will be providing the nutrition. Now talking about the interstitial spaces. Now outside the seminiferous tubule, there are certain spaces, just like how intercellular spaces are there in between the cells, same way interstitial spaces are also there. And this space contains the blood vessels and they also contain the Leydig cells, meaning this thing that I've drawn here, for example, if inside this was the seminiferous tubule, inside them was the male germ cells and Sertoli cells, right? Now outside, on the outside, there will be presence of Leydig cells. Now what is the function of Leydig cells? Leydig cells would synthesize and secrete the testicular hormone, that is androgen. The male hormone comes from the Leydig cells. Okay, and the male hormone is obviously released by the male reproductive system, more particularly the Leydig cells. Now where are the Leydig cells present? They are present on the outer side of the seminiferous tubule.
Seminiferous.
Yes. Okay, and they are, if you want to say it very precisely, then you can say that the Leydig cells, they are the interstitial cells and they are found in the interstitial spaces. And where does this space lies? It lies outside the seminiferous tubule. So ultimately, the Leydig cells are present outside the seminiferous tubules. The function of them is to make and secrete the hormone, that is male hormone. Now, apart from all of these cells and all of these components, other immunologically competent cells are also present. Immunologically competent, meaning?
I don't know.
Immunological. See, the cells that help in the immunity aspect are immunologically competent cells. Okay. Now, talking about the accessory ducts of the male reproductive system, there is the retitestes, vas efferentia, epididymis, and then there is vas deferens. Now, this pathway, as I've drawn 4 stars over here, so now you know that it is very, very important. So, seminiferous tubule, like seminiferous tubule is present inside the testes. Now, coming out of it is the retitestes. Then comes the vas efferentia, then there is the epididymis, vas deferentia, then to the ejaculatory duct and urethra. Meaning this is the whole entire pathway of how or of what the sperm travels. The sperms, after being formed inside the testes, meaning inside the seminiferous tubule, it goes into the retitestes. Then from the retitestes, it goes into the vas efferentia, then epididymis, vas deferens, ejaculatory duct, and then from the urethra it is released out. Now, out of this whole entire pathway, seminiferous tubules, retitestes, and vas efferentia are present in the testes. Then outside the testes is the epididymis and vas deferens, and this urethra and ejaculatory duct is present in the penis area. Now, the seminiferous tubules opens into the vas efferentia through the retitestes. Moving forward, the vas efferentia leaves the testes and open into the epididymis located along the posterior surface of the testes, meaning posterior means at the back, like the behind surface. So if this is the testes, okay, inside there will be the retitestes and then epididymis will be present on the back side. Okay. Now the epididymis opens into the vas deferens. Now this epididymis, which is a duct only, it receives a duct from seminal vesicle. Now this seminal vesicle is a male reproductive gland. So this gland secretes whatever thing it performs into the epididymis. Now, the external, now see this penis is the external genitalia of the male reproductive system, and the external opening of the penis is known as urethral meatus. This is again, many a times it is asked. Now, the penis is made up of special tissues that help in the erection. As soon as the blood flows through it, it gets erected. So that is the external genitalia. Now talking about, okay, do you people have any doubts up until now?
No, ma'am.
Sure?
No, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Also, I understand that this chapter, since it is, all reproductive thing and reproduction based, it doesn't mean that you people should hesitate in asking questions. If you don't understand anything, you can ask questions, because if you don't, then you'll write wrong answers and then the answer will be wrong if you write the wrong. What am I saying? Okay. Talking about the male accessory glands. Now, these are the glands that are some way or another helping in the process of reproduction aspect. The first gland is the seminal vesicle. Now they are paired. They are paired means two of them are there. Tubular and coiled glands. They are situated behind the urinary bladder. So the seminal vesicle is situated behind the urinary bladder. In males, they secrete a viscous, meaning a thick fluid, which is the main part of the ejaculate. See, when the sperms are formed inside the male's reproductive system, when it has to be released, the sperm requires a medium. Okay, so that medium along with the sperm is known as the ejaculate. It is actually, that medium is provided because of the seminal vesicle, which provides it a very viscous-like structure. Viscous means a thick, sticky, fluid-like structure. Apart from that, and that the flow that comes out of the male reproductive system, that is known as the ejaculate. This ejaculate contains millions of sperms. Okay. And apart from this viscous fluid, the seminal vesicle also provides fructose to the ejaculate for energy. Since fructose is a carbohydrate, so this carbohydrate would provide energy to the sperm. Clear? Now, after that, there is the prostate gland. Everyone might have heard about prostate cancer, right? It is very common form of cancer that takes place in man. So this prostate cancer or the prostate, it is actually related to the reproductive system, that is the prostate gland. Now, this is a chestnut-shaped gland and it is situated at the base of the bladder. Seminal vesicle was situated behind the bladder. Prostate gland is situated at the base of the bladder. Now, it provides an alkaline, that is basic component to the semen. Again, semen is again the fluid that comes out of the penis. Okay, and this fluid that comes out, it has to be alkaline in nature, basic in nature. It cannot be acidic. Now, apart from that, the prostate gland also provides the calcium dipositive ion, phosphate ions for the nourishment aspect of the sperm. Like most of the hormones or the secretions of these glands are there. The main function of them is to provide nutrition to the sperm, so that the sperm can become faster, because the sperm have to swim. So for their faster swimming and everything, they provide the sperm with a lot of nourishment. Now, the inflammation of the prostate gland is known as prostatitis. It is a form of a disease. It's just an extra knowledge that you should know. Now, coming on to the third and the last component of the male reproductive system, that is bulbourethral gland, or it is also known as Cowper's gland. It is a paired gland and it is pea-sized. Now, where is it situated? It is situated adjacent to the urethra at the base of the penis. It is situated at the base of the penis. This has nothing to do with the urinary bladder. It is situated
At the base?
Yes?
At the base.
At the base of the penis. And what does it do? It secretes mucus to act as a lubricant. Now, this does not provide anything to the sperms, but it secretes a lubricant kind of a thing, so that it is easier for the penis to get inside the vagina of the female. So it secretes a lubricant. All right, so this was the male reproductive system. Now tell me if you people have any doubts.
Okay. No.
Now we're talking about the female reproductive system. Now, see, I chose pink for female reproductive system. So it consists of a pair of ovaries. Now, just like testes were there in the male reproductive system, the ovaries are here the primary sex organ because ovaries make the ova or the egg. Now, apart from that, there is one pair of oviduct, also known as the fallopian tube. Apart from this, one uterus is there, cervix is there, vagina is there, along with the external genitalia, the things that can be seen from the outside. Now, the female reproductive system that is also located in the pelvis or the pelvic area. Apart from the above mentioned structures, a pair of mammary glands are also present. See, a very unique thing to remember is that the males and the females, both of them have mammary glands present. In general, because we belong to mammalia, right? We belong to the class mammalia. So all of the mammals have mammary glands present. It's very bizarre to hear that the male human also has mammary glands. But the only difference between the male humans and the female humans having mammary gland is that for female humans, the mammary gland is functional. Functional means it can make milk. For males, it cannot. It is present, but it is not functional. Clear? The whole reason we belong to the class Mammalia is because all of us have mammary glands, the male and the female combined. But the difference is that only the female can produce milk, because of which the mammary glands are functional in females and it is non-functional in the males. Now, all these organs, structures, and glands are integrated to function together to support the processes, like in the case of females, ovulation, that is release of ovum, then fertilization, pregnancy, birth, and then after the birth, the child care. So the female's reproductive system is much more, you can say, intricate, and it has to perform double the function as compared to the male reproductive system. Now let us talk about the primary sex organ of the females, that is the ovaries. Am I going too fast?
No, ma'am, it's okay.
Okay. If you do feel like I'm going fast, please stop me. Now, the primary sex organ of the female is the ovaries. It produces the ovum, that is the female gamete. And apart from that, it will also produce the female hormones. Now, remember that the nature of the hormone can be of variety of types. It can be proteinaceous, it can be vitamin, it can be variety. And steroid is one such nature of the hormone. Steroidal hormone, meaning it is derived from cholesterol, that is a fat. Clear? Like the nature of hormones can be of variety of things. Now, ovaries are located in the lower abdomen on each side. The length of the ovary is 2 to 4 centimeters. Ovaries, now since it is present inside the body, it doesn't mean that it is hanging. It actually can, nothing can hang in the body. It has to be attached to something, right? So the ovaries, they are also attached to the wall of the pelvis and the uterus with the help of certain tissues and connective tissues, ligaments. Each ovary is covered by a thin epithelium and it encloses the ovarian stroma. Just like how stroma is there in the chloroplast, if you people remember from class 11, stroma, right? Same way, ovarian stroma is there. Stroma means an enclosed space, an enclosed space. Now, this stroma is divided into two regions. One is the peripheral cortex, and then there is the inner medulla. Talking about the peripheral cortex, or the yellow part that you see in the diagram, everything that is yellow, that is the periphery, and that is the cortex. All this muscle-like thing that you see, this brownish or whatever color it is, this is the inside medulla. Outer cortex, inner medulla. Okay, always remember this thing. Outer cortex, inner medulla. Now, this was about the ovary. Now coming on to the duct, that is, now see, just like how the male had accessory ducts, same way the females also have accessory ducts. The oviduct, the uterus, and the vagina. These three things are counted as the accessory ducts. Now, the oviducts are also known as fallopian tubes. Now, this is the picture of the female reproductive system. I did not put the male reproductive system picture, right? I haven't. Oh, I should. Okay. This is the female reproductive system and it is present in the pelvic area. Now, see, this is the ovary, right? One pair. Now, this part, these three things that you're seeing, isthmus, ampulla, and infundibulum, these are the components of the fallopian tube. Now, each of them have their own function to perform. Now, talking about the fallopian tube or the oviduct, the length is 10 to 12 centimeters. It extends from the periphery of each ovary to the uterus. From the ovary, it goes up till the uterus. Starting from here, it will reach the uterus part. This part. Now, there are three parts of the fallopian tube. The first is infundibulum. Now, it lies closest to the ovary. It is a funnel-shaped structure. If you look at here, it is a funnel shape. Do you see how funnels look like this only, right? Something like this, isn't it? Badly drawn funnel. So this funnel shaped structure is known as the infundibulum. And if you notice, right in front of it is like the presence of finger-like projection, isn't it? So these finger-like projection are known as fimbriae. Now, what is their function? See, as soon as this ovary will release the ovum, okay, it will be like caught by the fimbriae. And then the ovum will move from here to here to here to here, it will go. Okay, so the function of fimbriae is to actually catch the ovum or to take the ovum. Now, the edges of the infundibulum possess finger-like projections called as the fimbriae. The fimbriae helps in the collection of ovum after ovulation. Ovulation means the release of ovum. Now, the next part of the fallopian tube is the ampulla. It is the wider portion of the fallopian tube. It comes after the infundibulum. The last part of the fallopian tube is the isthmus. It has a narrow lumen and finally it opens into the uterus. So a question may be asked as which part of the fallopian tube opens into the uterus. So you should know that it is the isthmus. Now coming on to the uterus. Uterus, very commonly known as the womb. Now it is an inverted pear-like structure. Normally pear is like this, right? Something. And when you invert it, that becomes the uterus. Number of uterus in every female is 1. And it is supported by ligaments or tissues that are attached to the pelvic wall. Now, uterus opens into the vagina through the cervix. I don't know why NCERT writes it like this. Why can't it write that uterus opens into the cervix and then the cervix opens into the vagina? But no, uterus opens into the vagina through the cervix. So let us see how does that happen. See, this part is the uterus, right? It will open into the vagina, that is this part, through the cervix. Okay? So you should know that uterus, cervix, and then vagina will happen. Okay? Now, now see, the cavity of the cervix is known as cervical canal. Now, this is very important. Yes, the cervical canal along with the pathway of the vagina, the area of the vagina, altogether is known as the birth canal because this is the area, this is the place from which the baby or the fetus is born. This is cervical canal plus vagina is equal to birth canal. This is very important. Now, there are 3 walls of uterus. Now, the uterus has been like lined with 3 walls. There is endometrium, the innermost layer, myometrium, the middle layer, and then there is the perimetrium, that is the outer layer. The uterus has 3 walls. We'll talk about these 3 walls later on, but you should know for now that these are the 3 walls of the uterus. Now, talking about the external genitalia, there is the mons pubis. This is the part of the pelvic which has pubic hair. The cushiony, fatty part of our reproductive system that contains the hair, that is the mons pubis. Then continuing from the mons pubis are 2 finger, no, not actually finger, they have been explained as lips-like structure. They are known as the labia majora. They are bigger in size and they are enclosing the smaller ones that are labia minora. Then there is a finger-like projection that is known as clitoris, and then there is a partial tissue covering known as the hymen. This hymen covers the opening of the vagina. Okay. Now, a functional mammary gland is the characteristic feature of all the female mammals. They have a functional mammary gland. Now, what is a functional mammary gland? It is the mammary gland that will produce the milk. Now, just inside the mammary gland, there is the presence of alveoli. Don't confuse this alveoli with the one from the breathing chapter. That is a different alveoli. That is in the lungs. We also have alveoli in the mammary gland. It is the site of production of milk. Okay, again, it is also a balloon-like structure, but it has different function to perform. Now, do you people have your books with you? If you have your books with you, you can open this page wherein they have given the diagram of the whole mammary gland and the ducts or the pathway. If you see that diagram, do you have your book with you, Isra?
Ma'am, I'm having the PDF of the book.
Okay. Yeah, sure. You can see in the PDF also. You will see the whole pathway wherein it starts from the alveoli from where the milk production happens. Then the alveoli opens into the mammary tubules. The mammary tubules open into the mammary ducts. Then many mammary ducts collect and become the mammary ampulla. And lastly, there is the lactiferous duct, which is present in the nipple area from where the milk is sucked out. So this whole entire, you can say, pathway is the pathway for formation as well as ejection, that is the expulsion of the milk. This is the pathway. You know, many a times in questions, they can like give you the whole entire pathway. They'll put some blanks. So you'll have to fill in the blank. Okay. Any doubts up until now?
No, ma'am.
No.
Okay. Now moving forward, let us talk about gametogenesis. Now we're coming on to the greatest topic. Gametogenesis is the formation of gametes. The primary sex organ of the males, that is the testes, and the females, that is the ovaries, produces the gametes. In testes, the immature male germ cells, now they are the most, like the VVIP cells are male germ cells, that is spermatogonia. These spermatogonia, they produce sperms by the process known as spermatogenesis. Gametogenesis is the common term. Spermatogenesis means the formation of sperms. Now, always remember that in the case of males, the formation of sperm begins at the puberty. Okay, it begins at puberty, meaning as you know what puberty is, right?
Yeah.
The time, the transitioning from the childhood to the adulthood phase that is there, that is the puberty. Now, in that puberty time, the spermatogenesis starts. Now, the spermatogonia or the male germ cell, they are present on the inside wall of the seminiferous tubule. We already know the place where the spermatogonia is present. Now, what happens initially? The spermatogonia, they multiply by mitosis. Mitosis is equational division that leads to the increase in number of cells. So, for example, initially, I've drawn here. If initially one cell was there, it will give rise to two cells. Then these two cells further will give rise to two more cells, right? So that is how the number of cells will increase by equational division, that is mitosis. Now, each spermatogonia is diploid. Obviously, it will be diploid and it contains 46 chromosomes, that is 23 pairs of chromosomes. Now, some of the spermatogonia that are known as primary spermatocytes, meaning these cells that are there, okay? Some of them are the primary spermatocyte and they will undergo the first meiotic division, meaning meiosis 1, and they will form two equal cells called as the secondary spermatocyte. So initially, spermatogonia Did mitosis? Increased in number. Some of the cells of the spermatogonia are known as primary spermatocytes. They will undergo meiosis and form secondary spermatocytes. Now, the secondary spermatocytes undergo second meiotic division and it produces 4 cells that are haploid and they are known as spermatids. Now, spermatids are formed. After that, these spermatids get a transformation. Imagine spermatids undergoing a beauty parlor and getting a transformation. So the spermatid now gets transformed into a spermatozoa. Spermatozoa is the fancy name of sperm. And this process wherein the spermatids are getting transformed, meaning change in the shape, change in the way they look, this is known as spermiogenesis. Now, after spermiogenesis has happened, meaning the sperms have been formed, right? Now, these sperm, their head will become embedded in the Sertoli cells. They will go and attach onto the Sertoli cells, like for nutrition. Okay? And then, now they are finally released from the seminiferous tubule by the process of spermiation. Spermiation, just like how ovulation is there in females, the release of ovum is ovulation. Same way, the release of sperm is known as spermiation. Clear? And this is how the whole entire process of spermatogenesis happens. Now, the 3 processes, that is spermatogenesis, spermiogenesis, and spermiation. Like your concepts about these 3 processes should be crystal clear. Now, tell me, you people understand the differences between the 3 terms?
Yeah.
What is spermatogenesis?
Yes.
Spermatogenesis is the formation of sperms, and spermiogenesis. Wait. Wait. Spermiation is the release, and spermatogenesis is the formation, and
Yes.
spermiogenesis is
Transformation. The transformation of the spermatids, meaning after the second meiotic division, the spermatids that are formed, they will get transformed into the spermatozoa, that is sperm. So that is spermiogenesis. So these 3 terms, you should not have any confusion in this. Any doubts? So with that being said, I have gotten you people caught up to date to what I am teaching in the batch. And yeah, one more thing, the ploidy level. Or both of you know what is ploidy, right? The number of chromosomes in a cell, right? The sets of chromosomes. So it can be haploid and diploid. Now let us see each of them. See, spermatogonium or spermatogonia. See, spermatogonia is plural, spermatogonium is singular. Okay? Yes?
Okay.
So spermatogonium is diploid. Agreed?
Yeah.
The Sertoli cells, yes, the Sertoli cells that are there, they are also diploid. Now moving forward, the primary spermatocyte, see, spermatogonium underwent or undergo mitosis to form primary spermatocyte, right? Now after mitosis, the chromosome number does not change, right? 2n will stay 2n. So primary spermatocyte becomes 2n. Now the primary spermatocyte undergoes the first meiosis. So means it forms the secondary spermatocyte and the secondary spermatocyte will be haploid because it is a result of meiosis. Then this secondary spermatocyte will undergo one more meiosis, that is meiosis 2, and form the spermatid. This spermatid is also haploid, and this spermatid will get transformed into spermatozoa, meaning the sperm by the process of spermiogenesis, right? And that is the ploidy and the whole entire step. Any doubts?
No. No.
All right. And when does the process of spermatogenesis starts in males?
Puberty.
Puberty. So, any doubts up until now?
No.
Okay, now you people can note down. Note down as much as you can. and the rest of the things I'll let you take screenshots. But first you know them, okay? Now you can switch off your video, write comfortably.
Ma'am,
Yes.
in the batch that we are like going to be in,
Hmm.
is Mariam there?
Yes, she is. Okay, switch off your video, write comfortably. Tell me when you're done, then I'll scroll.
You can scroll.
Both of you are done?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
You can scroll. Ma'am, you can scroll. Ma'am, you can scroll.
All right, let us continue, and I'll give you people time, or I'll give you the screenshots of this, like the notes. Okay. All right, so now we are going to see the regulatory mechanism of the gamete formation in the case of males. Okay, now, okay, everyone switch on your cameras. Now, the process of spermatogenesis, that is the formation of sperm, it starts at the age of puberty. Now, this happens because of the increase of secretion of the hormone, that is GnRH. Now, everyone must remember from chemical control and coordination, the GnRH, that is the hypothalamic hormone, the hormone from the hypothalamus. Now, whenever the level of the, and what is the full form is gonadotrophin releasing hormone, meaning these are the hormones that would stimulate the formation of gametes. Yes. Now, when the levels of the gonadotrophin releasing hormone increases, when that level increases, it acts at the anterior pituitary. Like pituitary has certain parts, anterior, posterior pituitary. So this one acts at the anterior pituitary, and because of that, it releases or it stimulates the secretion of two gonadotrophins. See, the hypothalamus releases either the releasing hormone or the inhibiting hormone, and it acts on the pituitary. Now, gonadotrophin releasing hormone, GnRH, when this hormone, which is released by the hypothalamus, when this will act on the pituitary, it will make the pituitary release the gonadotrophin. What are the two gonadotrophins? The first is luteinizing hormone, LH, and then there is follicle stimulating hormone, that is the FS. These two are the gonadotrophins, and these two gonadotrophins, they are released because of the GnRH, that is gonadotrophin releasing hormone. GnRH comes from the hypothalamus, the gonadotrophins come from the pituitary gland. Clear? All right. Now talking about the function. Both of them have their own functions to perform. The luteinizing hormone, it acts on the Leydig cells. Everyone remembers what Leydig cells are?
Yes,
they are present outside the seminiferous tubule or inside?
outside.
Outside.
Inside? No, outside. It's present outside. Now, the luteinizing hormone would act on the Leydig cells, and it will cause the synthesis and secretion of the androgen. The male hormones are known as androgens. So they are secreted and first synthesizes and secrete because of the Leydig cells. The luteinizing hormone. Now, this androgen which is released by the Leydig cell, this androgen would actually cause the process of spermatogenesis. Okay. Now, after that, the follicle stimulating hormone, the FSH. Now, what does this hormone do? This hormone, it acts on the Sertoli cells, and it helps in the process of spermiogenesis. What is spermiogenesis? Spermiogenesis.
Transform.
Formation of sperm.
No, that is spermatogenesis.
From
This is why I pay very a lot of stress on these three terms. Yes.
From formation of sperm.
No, dears. Formation of sperm is spermatogenesis.
transformation.
This is the transformation of the what to what?
That's the problem.
That's the problem. What thing gets transformed into what? Is Mariam here in the class?
Yeah, she'll answer.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Tell me, Mariam.
Okay.
What is spermiogenesis? Okay, this thing is clear that it is the transformation of something. No looking into your book. This is clear that it is the transformation of something. But what thing gets transformed into what? I need the exact words. One hint, both of them starts with an S.
I know that everything over there starts with an S. Spermatids to
Yes,
spermatozoa.
very good.
I was
Exactly.
like,
The spermatids gets converted into spermatozoa. Spermatozoa are the sperms. So with this, we are seeing the whole entire process through which this is happening. And the gonadotrophin releasing hormone, it is coming from where?
pituitary.
Hypothalamus. All the hormones that their names are followed by RH, releasing hormone, inhibiting hormone. So they are being released from the hypothalamus. Okay. Now they act on, they secrete the luteinizing hormone and also the follicle stimulating hormone from the pituitary. Right? Now, the luteinizing hormone acts on the Leydig cells to form androgen. Androgen is the male hormone. And this male hormone then makes the spermatogenesis, like does the process of spermatogenesis. Any doubts up until now?
No one.
This hormonal regulatory mechanism is clear to you? How it is released, where does it act on, what does it do? Any doubts?
No.
Okay. Now we are going to see the structure of the sperm. Now this is the structure of the sperm. Now sperm is a motile structure. Motile, why? Because it has a tail and it can swim because of the presence of tail. Now the sperm has these parts. It has the head part. It has the neck. Then it has this, the square portion or the rectangular portion is the middle piece. And then lastly, it has a tail. Now the body of the sperm is surrounded by a plasma membrane. The head of the sperm contains an like elongated haploid nucleus. Inside the head, there will be the presence of nucleus. Okay. Now, moving forward. The anterior portion, anterior means the top part of the sperm, it has been covered by a cap-like structure which is known as acrosome. This acrosome is very important for the cell, for the sperm. Why? Because it is first of all filled with enzymes that help in the fertilizing the ovum, because now the function of the sperm is to fertilize the ovum, that is the egg, right? So this acrosome helps the sperm to do so. Now the middle piece contains many mitochondria, which produces energy for the movement of tail, because we know that mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, isn't it? Now the powerhouse of the cell, what does it do? It forms the ATP, because of which the sperm gets the energy to move. And then the sperm motility, see the whole property wherein the sperm can move, okay, it is very important for reproduction aspect, the movement of sperm. Okay, so that movement, the energy for that movement is provided by the mitochondria. Now, in the human male ejaculate, meaning the release that is from the reproductive system, about 200 to 300 million sperms are present, which are transferred to the female in the process of coitus, that is the sexual intercourse. So the the sperms are transferred from the male's reproductive system to the female's reproductive system by coitus. Now, in the general and normal case scenario, at least 60% of these sperms must have normal shape and size, meaning out of the 200 to 300 million sperms. And see, the greatest thing to remember that 200 to 300 million sperms are present in every ejaculate, every single one. No matter how many times does it happen, it contains these many sperms. Now, see, since the sperm is the male gamete and it is responsible for the fertilization of the female gamete, that is the ovum, so the sperm has to be healthy. It has to be proper. It has to be good in shape and size so as to perform the good function. So out of the 300 million sperms, 60% of these must have normal shape and size. Okay, and at least 40% of them would show vigorous motility. As I said, that their motility, the movability or their motion is very important from the reproduction point of view. Got it? Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Mariam, are you recognizing a familiar name in the students list?
Yes.
Okay. So she's back, huh?
Yeah.
We were very sad that you left, Kavita.
Yeah. The class was
Yeah,
quiet.
the class was very quiet. Now it's good. I've got really good students in my 12th batch. I'm very happy. All of you are very responsive, and I like that kind of a class wherein the student responds. I hate it when I say something and nobody says anything. I'm like, who am I talking to? So it's good when you people respond. It's nice. And now you people listen. I don't want to sound pompous, but the thing that I want to say is that whatever I am teaching in the class, whatever stuff that is written in my notes, if you read it word to word from the starting till the end, you will never find any difficulty in any question. You will be able to solve every single question. All that you have to do is stay honest. Stay honest, and with honesty, you have to keep on learning. Also, yeah, with that being said, your test is like you have an upcoming test, that the test that you people used to have, and I don't know when it is going to be, but wait. So again, those weekly tests that you people used to have, the tests are going to start now since we have actually covered some topics. And it is, I think it's going to be on Tuesday. And the syllabus that I have given for you people for the 12th batch is sexual reproduction in flowering plants, the whole chapter. Okay. And from human reproduction, there is male reproductive. You people can note it down. From the first chapter for your syllabus is sexual reproduction in flowering plants, the whole chapter, nothing, no topic, no, whole chapter.
2 chapters in one test.
No, it's not 2 chapters. Some topics of human reproduction. I have not completed the
You
chapter.
can just do one chapter is enough.
I've given the syllabus.
Wow.
No, it's good. No, it's good. No,
Oh,
your preparation will go well. No, it's good. So sexual reproduction, and the second is human reproduction. Under that, you have male reproductive system, female reproductive system, and spermatogenesis. That's it. 3 topics. Only 3. Okay. Now, moving forward. Now, remember that I said that the uterus has 3 walls, right? Endometrium,
yes.
myometrium, and perimetrium. Now, we're going to see what are the functions of each of those walls. Now, talking about the endometrium, it is the innermost epithelial layer that lines the uterine cavity. Meaning, since it is the innermost. If this is the uterus, then here the line that is the layer that will be present will be the endometrium. Now, what does it do? It lines means the covering from the inside. So it lines the uterine cavity. Now, the endometrium undergoes cyclic changes during the menstrual cycle. Endometrium undergoes the cyclic changes. Now, talking about the myometrium, it is a thick middle layer of smooth muscles, and myometrium functions during strong contractions to push out the baby during the delivery. So, whilst the female is pregnant and when the baby has been formed fully, then the contraction or the pain that happens, it is because of this layer of the uterus. Then lastly, there is perimetrium. It is the external thin membranous layer that protects the uterus. So 3 layers are there, out of which the most significant for our study is endometrium, because we are going to study menstrual cycle, right? So endometrium is important for that. So these are the 3 layers of the uterus and the functions. Now, I also discussed the external genitalia, but initially I discussed it in a very brief manner. Now, here is the language for it. The mons pubis. The mons pubis lies in the pelvic area. It is a cushion-like structure which is made up of fatty tissues covered by skin and dense pubic hair. Then there is labia majora. It is, all of these are the external genitalia of the female. Talking about the labia majora, it is the fold of fleshy tissue enclosing and protecting the vaginal opening. It extends from the mons pubis. Then there is labia minora. It is the mini form of labia majora. So it is the fold of tissue in the form of lips under the labia majora. Then talking about the hymen, it is the partial covering present at the opening of the vagina. The clitoris, it is a tiny finger-like structure which lies at the upper junction of the two labia minora above the urethral opening. It is a finger-like structure. Now, at the time of puberty, the mammary gland starts developing under the influence of estrogen and progesterone hormone. Development starts at what? Puberty in the case of female. Now, inside the mammary gland is the glandular tissue. Glandular tissues are present. The mammary gland is present in both male and female, but it is only functional in female. The glandular tissue is present in both the breasts and it is divided into 15 to 20 mammary lobes. Just like how testicular lobules were there, now the lobes means what? It means compartments, right? Circular compartments or a line containing stuff is a lobe. The mammary lobe contains alveoli. Alveoli is where the milk formation takes place. Now, the milk formation and secretion takes place from the mammary alveoli. Now, you know the whole entire pathway. I have already discussed that the milk from the alveoli passes into the mammary tubules. First, tubules will. Then, these tubules join to form duct, one common duct. Many ducts again form the ampulla. Ampulla is a wider region. And then, the mammary ampulla is connected to the lactiferous duct from where the milk is sucked out. This portion is present in the nipple area. Any doubts up until now?
No, ma'am.
Is this whole thing clear? Why are you making faces? Huh? Maria? What happened? Did I give you stress for the test?
No. No, not everyone has milk, right? So like, how?
Not everyone has milk, so
So like, when does the milk formation happen?
see, the development of the tissues of the breast. Okay, for females, it starts at the puberty because at the puberty time, hormones increase in the body, right? The body is going through a lot of changes, isn't it? So at that time, it starts developing. But obviously, the milk formation will not start until the female is pregnant. She has to conceive the baby, then only the milk will start producing. Because when a female has not conceived, she's not pregnant, then what would she need the milk for? The milk is there for feeding the baby, right? So, yes. So, you people get it? It happens after the pregnancy, meaning after conceiving the baby, because it is ultimately to feed the baby itself. This whole pathway is clear, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Ma'am, I have a
Any-
doubt.
Yes, ma'am.
How long does a female produce milk? Like time period?
See, it depends. It varies from female to female, and mostly it is up till 6 months. 6 months, and even she can produce more up till the baby needs, as far as I think. You can say that there are many females that can produce up till 2 years, and then there are many that cannot. So it varies from female to female. It is just the matter of time up till when the female can actually feed the infant. Okay, clear? Any more doubts? Anyone?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
So this was about the pathway, and see, wherever pathways are given, please pay attention to that, because many questions, like teachers can set questions like They'll give you the pathway and they'll remove one and they'll ask you to put. And by teachers, you know whom I'm talking about. Me. Okay, so I can torture you in various ways. This is one form of torture, so you can be ready for that. And that is it. Now moving forward to oogenesis. Just like how we had spermatogenesis, now we're talking about oogenesis. Now you're going to see how unique this is. See, the process of formation of a mature female gamete is known as oogenesis. Just like how the formation of male gamete was spermatogenesis. But when did male gametogenesis started?
Puberty.
Puberty. But in the female, it starts at the embryonic
Embryo.
development stage, meaning when the female is inside her mother, meaning when the female is in the womb. At that time, imagine in a fetus, the ovary starts developing the ovum. Not fully mature, but the process starts, the initial process starts at the embryonic stage. Okay? Now, at this stage, millions of gamete mother cells, just like how there was spermatogonia in male, right? The male germ cell, isn't it? Same way, the female germ cells are oogonia. So in like millions of gamete mother cell or the oogonia are formed in the ovary of the fetus. Okay. Then no more oogonia are formed and added after birth. So for example, if there is a female who is not born with millions of gamete mother cells, let's just say she's born with 1,000 or 10,000. So after that female has been born and brought to life, then no more oogonia are going to be formed in her. Okay. Every single female, she is born with a number of oogonia. Everyone, it varies from female to female, and whatever be the number, the female that is, you can say the female that is born with the number of gametes mother cells, that is going to be it for the rest of her life. Okay. No more oogonia, meaning just like how male germ cells, spermatogonia were there, these spermatogonia divided and formed the sperm. So the cells that will form the ovum, the number of them are limited and fixed. None of them is going to increase. That is why the female, after a while, she cannot give birth. Right? She cannot give birth because she does not have the eggs to do so. But the males can give, like they can conceive or they can reproduce throughout their life. Okay? Now, these cells start division and then they enter into prophase 1 of meiosis and get temporarily arrested at that stage, meaning in the fetus, when the cells are dividing. So they get arrested at prophase 1. Arrested means they stop at prophase 1 temporarily. Okay. And at this stage, the cells get transformed into primary oocytes. Just like how primary spermatogonia were there, spermatocytes were there. So this is primary oocytes. Now, each primary oocyte gets surrounded by a layer of granulosa cells and now they become primary follicle. For example, this were like these are, just imagine I've drawn millions of them. Okay. This is the oogonia. Okay. If I'm talking about one, so this oogonia will give rise to the primary oocyte after division. Okay. Now, if I'm talking about again one of the oocyte, this is primary oocyte. Okay. Now, when it starts getting surrounded by one layer of granulosa cell, granulosa is the name of the cell. Okay. So, if it gets surrounded by one layer, then we'll call it as primary follicle. Meaning, primary oocyte surrounded by one layer of granulosa cell is equal to primary oocyte. Follicle. Okay. Now, a large number of follicles start to degenerate from time of birth to puberty. So even after the fixed number that the female is born with, up till reaching the puberty, the number of follicles will start to degenerate. Okay. Now, at the time of puberty, only 60,000 to 80,000 follicles are left in each ovary. She was born with millions. Now she's left with 60,000 to 80,000. The number can vary from female to female. Now, the primary follicle, it gets surrounded by more layers of granulosa cell and it becomes secondary follicle. It is sort of like, what do you call? Modification is happening. So, primary oocyte plus granulosa cell becomes primary follicle. Then primary follicle plus granulosa cell becomes secondary follicle. Then again, if I add secondary follicles and granulosa cells, what will I have?
Tertiary.
Tertiary follicle. So you get this whole thing, right? This is just the, you can say, modification. Okay. Now, the secondary follicle will soon get transformed into the tertiary follicle. The tertiary follicle is characterized by a fluid-filled cavity called as the antrum. Now see, since all of these things that they are the modification, some way or another, the oocyte is changing its shape and form and the way it looks. So when it will reach the tertiary follicle stage, okay, at that time, it will have, for example, if this is the primary oocyte, now it becomes the primary follicle. Now it becomes the secondary follicle, right? And now it becomes the tertiary follicle. Now tertiary follicle, like how certain things are the indicative of stuff, same way, how do you see a tertiary follicle under the microscope and see that it is? So it will have a fluid-filled space or a fluid-filled cavity, which is known as antrum. And again, this line is very important. Okay, this you understand?
Ma'am, can you repeat this one?
See, the formation of follicle, okay, it is the process of sort of modification that is happening to the oocytes, okay, modifying. Now, when the primary oocyte got surrounded by the cells that are known as granulosa cells, they became primary follicle. And when the primary follicle got surrounded by the granulosa cell, they became secondary follicle. And when secondary follicle got surrounded, they became tertiary follicle. Now, tertiary follicle is the most advanced modification. Okay. So, in the most advanced modification, what happens is that they have a characteristic feature about them. Like, since it is a modification, so some changes are happening. And what is that change? A fluid-filled cavity is there that is known as antrum. So it has a fluid-filled cavity, an extra thing that it has. Okay. For example, initially the superhero had just the cape. Now the superhero got modified, got more, you can say, powers, and it had extra vision. Okay, I'm very bad at this, so get along. And then after it got extra vision, then it got more modified and got extra hearing, superpower hearing. Now we are on to the last stage. Now that Superman has all of these things, and along with that, it has a fluid-filled cavity that is antrum. So now our Superman has antrum. Okay.
So the antrum will be in the granulosa cell.
No, the antrum is present inside the tertiary follicle. There is no place specified. You just have to understand that the tertiary follicle has antrum. Where? It will never be asked. You just have to know that it has it. Clear? Okay. The theca layer is organized into inner theca interna and outer theca externa. Leave this part. This is something extra. Leave this part for now. See, the primary oocyte present inside the tertiary follicle. See, even though it is the tertiary follicle, we are saying follicle because of the presence of granulosa cell. But if you remove all the granulosa cell, what will you be left with? Primary oocyte, isn't it? Nothing happened to the primary oocyte. So the primary oocyte present inside the tertiary follicle will grow in size and complete the first meiotic division. What happens? We remember that at the prophase 1, it got arrested. The division is not completed. Prophase 1 is a part of meiosis 1. Everyone remembers meiosis, right? Meiosis has been divided into meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. Meiosis 1
Okay.
prophase has been further been divided into this thing. Prophase 1, metaphase 1, anaphase 1, telophase 1. So at that time, at prophase 1, it was arrested, meaning it was not dividing. But then when it will get transformed into a tertiary follicle, now it will complete the division. Okay, and when it completes the division, it forms a large secondary oocyte. So from the primary oocyte, it got transformed into secondary oocyte, and along with it, a tiny first polar body is formed. For example, this was the primary oocyte. It completed the meiotic division. Okay, meiosis 1 is completed in it. Now after that, it will form secondary oocyte. Okay, and along with that, it will form another cell that is unequal and it is of no use, that is known as polar body, meaning some extra cell. It has no function, it has nothing to do, but it's just an extra cell that is. Okay. Now, after this division has been done, meaning after the primary oocyte gets converted into the secondary oocyte, but it is still present inside the follicle only. Follicle is not getting removed. Okay. The follicle is not getting removed. The primary oocyte is present in the secondary oocyte. Yes.
Can you explain what is oocyte and granulosa cell?
See, oocyte is
The difference.
Let's start from the start. There is oogonia. You understand what everyone understands what oogonia is? What
Yeah.
is oogonia? First tell me what
Female
is oogonia.
gamete.
Female
Female?
gamete.
Female gamete.
Female gamete is ovum.
Oh,
Oh,
What is oogonia?
why are there so many terms?
Yeah, there are many terms. And every term sounds the same.
monomer
Exactly.
of female gamete.
Monomer.
Primary.
Mono.
No. Primary.
Okay, if I say that it is the equivalent of spermatogonia, then you people understand this? Meaning spermatogonia is male, oogonia is the female version of spermatogonia. Is it clear now? For that, you people have to remember what is spermatogonia.
Yeah.
Male germ cell.
Male germ cell. See, you people understand what germ cells are?
No.
Yes.
No.
No.
Oh God, what level do I have to go now? See, germ cells. Let's start from the basic. Germ cell in general. Germ cells are the cell that undergoes meiosis to form gametes. There can be male germ cells, there can be female germ cells. The male germ cells are known as spermatogonia. The female germ cells are known as oogonia. Is it clear now? Now, if you have revised and if you have studied that about the spermatogenesis, that is why I ask all of you to study your the previous class lecture to understand the new lecture. See, okay, when I was telling you about spermatogonia or spermatogenesis, spermatogenesis is the formation of sperm. Everyone is clear on that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when the spermatogenesis happens, at that point of time, the spermatogonia, that is the male germ cell, it gets transformed into primary spermatocyte. Then to the secondary spermatocyte, right? And then finally we have the spermatid and then we have the sperm. This is how it happens?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're talking about the males, right? Now in the case of, females, the equivalent of spermatogonia is the oogonia. Okay. Now when the oogonia will divide, it will form primary oocyte. Just like how spermatocyte was there, oocyte will be here. Okay. This oocyte will transform into secondary, like primary oocyte turns into secondary oocyte. Okay. Now, okay, but in the case of female, there is a little complicated stuff, that is granulosa. Now, just imagine that this was primary oocyte, like oogonia was there. Okay. From the oogonia, we got primary oocyte. Okay. Now, before turning into secondary oocyte, this primary oocyte has certain transformation. So this is the primary oocyte. It gets surrounded by one layer of granulosa cell. And then this modification is known as primary follicle. Meaning this whole structure together is primary follicle. Okay. What do you call this part?
Oocyte.
Primary oocyte.
Primary oocyte.
It's very important to denote primary or secondary. So it is primary, 1 degree means primary oocyte. Primary oocyte is present in the primary follicle. Is this clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Primary oocyte is present in the primary follicle.
Primary follicle.
Now, this, okay, what is this that I've drawn?
Granulosa.
No, this whole thing.
What?
Primary follicle.
Primary follicle, this whole thing, this whole flower looking thing.
Oh,
What is
okay.
it? Primary follicle?
Yeah.
Agreed by everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if I surround it with another granulosa cell layer, what will it become?
Secondary follicle.
Secondary follicle.
Secondary follicle. Very good. Secondary follicle is there. But what is this?
Primary.
Primary oocyte.
Primary oocyte. Always remember, as I told you, primary, secondary is very important. You people get this up till here?
So even if it is secondary follicle, it will still be primary oocyte.
Inside the secondary follicle, primary oocyte is there. Just
Okay,
remember that these follicle cells, I mean these granulosa cells, they are not going to form the gamete. It's just one modification. Okay. Now, what is this?
Primary follicle.
What is this?
Secondary follicle.
Secondary follicle.
What is this?
Tertiary
Tertiary.
follicle.
What is this?
Primary oocyte.
Primary oocyte.
Is it clear to everyone?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Sure? Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Now, this primary oocyte inside the tertiary follicle. This line is now, you people are getting what I'm trying to say? I
Yeah.
feel so accomplished. Okay. Now, after this primary oocyte, where was it arrested? It got arrested. It did a crime. Where was it arrested?
Primary.
Prophase 1.
Arrested
Prophase.
at prophase 1. Okay. Now, it's not normal that the cell was undergoing the process of meiosis and it stopped at one point. It has to complete, right? Now, what will happen? This primary oocyte, which is present inside the tertiary follicle, it will complete the meiosis 1. Meaning, after prophase 1, whatever phases are there, metaphase 1, anaphase 1, telophase 1, then all of those things will happen. And at the end, when like one cell, if we are talking about meiosis 1, so that if this cell undergoes meiosis 1, what does it form? How many cells are formed after meiosis 1? 2 cells are formed. Okay, 2 cells. After meiosis 1, after meiosis 2, 4 cells are formed. Okay, so after this, the primary oocyte, which is present inside the tertiary follicle, will get transformed into secondary oocyte. Okay. Along with secondary oocyte, a tiny polar body is formed. This polar body is of no significance. It's just something that is formed. Because ultimately at the end, 2 cells have to be formed, right? So this is the compensatory second cell. You don't have to write what is it. You don't have to write that it is the compensatory. This is something that I'm saying so that you can understand. All that you have to write is the first polar body. That's it. If someone asks you what is the function of the polar body, what would you say? If somebody asks you what is the function of the polar body, what would you say?
Has a charge.
It has no function.
Oh.
Okay, it has no function. Okay. So also, if I am looking under a microscope, okay, if I'm looking the cells of the female reproductive system under the microscope, and I got tertiary follicle cells in my microscope, how will I know that it is the tertiary follicle cell?
Presence of antrum.
Antrum is a fluid-filled cavity which is present. Yes.
Yes.
Any doubts?
No.
Okay. So just give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second. What can you see on your screen?
Your Microsoft Note
And all the chapters.
topics.
Now can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right. Look at here.
Okay.
Forget the words that do not seem known to you. Okay? Don't get confused by that. Look at this antrum. You seeing this antrum?
Yeah.
This
Yes,
is
ma'am.
how the see, primary oocyte is there. All of these, do you see granulosa, the purple ones, the dark purple, deep purple ones? So the primary oocyte is surrounded by the granulosa cells. This is a picture of a tertiary follicle. Why? Because it has this, do you see this space, the lightest purple, that is antrum? This is how you will recognize that it is a tertiary follicle.
Yeah.
Got it? Any doubts?
No.
This thing is clear, right? I hope no one has any doubts.
Good that I asked that question.
Good? Good.
Yeah.
All righty. Now, moving forward.
Is it always purple?
No, it's actually not purple. The cell is not purple. Okay. We have used certain dyes so that we can visualize them. If you use blue dye, it will look blue. But usually a purple dye is used so that it can be stained. Okay. Now. All right. Now you people understand that inside the tertiary follicle, after the meiosis has been done, is the secondary oocyte. Clear? Now the tertiary follicle further changes into Graafian follicle or a mature follicle. The tertiary follicle, which has secondary oocyte present, that will change into the final mature follicle. Now the secondary oocyte forms a new membrane called as zona pellucida. Secondary oocyte. Secondary oocyte inside the tertiary follicle will form a membrane which is known as zona pellucida. Inside. Okay, it will form a new membrane called as zona pellucida. Now the Graafian follicle now ruptures and releases the secondary oocyte from the ovary by the process of ovulation. Meaning, see, the secondary oocyte went missing. Meaning this secondary oocyte, it will be released out. These granulosa cells will degenerate or rupture. It will rupture, burst. And because of that bursting, this secondary oocyte will be released. And this releasing of the secondary oocyte from a Graafian follicle. Imagine Graafian follicle as a very old follicle. It was so old that it fell and bursted. So because of that, the secondary oocyte released, and this process is known as ovulation. The release of the secondary oocyte, commonly known as ovum, is known as ovulation. Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
No doubt? All right.
No, ma'am.
There is a very good diagram which shows the follicles properly. Yeah, look. So nice. I should have put this in my notes. Okay, see. Oocyte. Do you see the cursor? There's a finger like thing. Do you see the cursor? So this oocyte is there. Now this oocyte is getting converted into what? The primary oocyte, surrounded by the granulosa cells, and it becomes a primary follicle. Then secondary, lastly there is a tertiary follicle. Don't look at the words. Okay. Now after that it will change into a mature follicle, which is Graafian follicle, and the rupture of Graafian follicle will cause the release of the secondary oocyte, that is ovulation. Clear? The NCERT diagram is better. You people have your books with you, right? See in your books.
Yeah.
Can't find the NCERT diagram. Oh, this one. This is the diagram which is there in your book, right? This ugly diagram. Okay. So this is the same thing again, the thing that I'm trying to tell you. Always remember that Graafian follicle is the mature follicle, meaning after tertiary follicle will come a Graafian follicle. We won't say quaternary follicle. We'll say Graafian follicle. And when this Graafian follicle will rupture, we'll have the secondary oocyte will be released, and that is ovulation. Any doubts?
My God.
Where does this all happen?
In the ovary.
In the ovary.
Oh, okay.
In the ovary. Everything, all of these things are happening in the ovary. Okay.
This was
And it
way more complicated than the male.
Yeah, it is.
So
Any doubts?
dramatic. No, man.
This much is clear?
Yep.
I really hope that you people don't have any doubts. If you do, then please tell me. Okay. And whilst you're like reading also, you know, this requires 2 to 3 times of reading. So now you people know what you have to do. Okay. Now before starting on to the menstrual cycle, since only half an hour is left, people note down, or else you don't have time to note down. I've taught a lot. I went with the flow and I taught a lot of things, and then now time is very less. Also, yeah, see this. Okay, how can I forget this? Look, in the fetal life, meaning when the female is inside the womb, the oogonia starts differentiating by mitosis and forms the primary oocyte. And as I told you that every female will be born with her set number of oocytes, right? Now, at the birth, the first meiotic division gets completed before ovulation. The secondary oocyte is formed. Along with that, the first polar body. Do you see how tiny it is? Right? This is what happens. And then the rest of it we'll see when we'll talk about fertilization. Now you note down.
Should I leave space?
Yeah, yes, you should leave. I'll send you the screenshots. Okay, like you've written up till where?
We have to start male accessory glands.
Male accessory. Okay, from male accessory glands. Yes.
In previous class, I wrote till primary sex organs of females. We wrote till there only.
We've written till there only.
Yes.
I wrote till stroma divided into two zones.
Into two zones. Peripheral contact.
You people have written up till here only.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot to write. Oh my God, why didn't you tell me?
Or we could just take screenshots.
We could take screenshots, ma'am.
Yeah, you could.
I'm just
but
saying.
It's of no use.
I
could
will
let
write
you
it
see.
later.
Yeah, we can write it later, ma'am.
Even me being a student, I never wrote it later. It always stayed in my phone and I never even took it out to study. That is why I'm scared for you. So you people write quickly, okay? Or should I let you take screenshots?
This 12th grade, we won't mess it up.
It's 12th
This is
grade.
12th grade. We can't mess it up.
Sure.
We can't.
Because I will torture you people if you don't get good marks. You know that, right?
Yes.
Because in my class, you are supposed to get full marks, isn't it?
Yes. ma'am.
Okay, then I should let you screenshot. I'm very skeptical about it. I don't want to, but
I have
I
an
don't
idea.
have time.
You can ask us later to send a few pictures of like
The notes.
like that we wrote. Not all of them,
Yeah.
a little bit, to see that we wrote it.
Okay. But see, the thing is that the topic up till where I've taught you today is enough for today. Like the half an hour that is left, now you people can note down because I'm not going to teach you further
Okay.
because it will be a lot, right?
Hmm.
I want
Yes.
a surety that up till now, whatever I've taught, you people have understood.
Yeah.
Do you
Yes,
people have
ma'am.
any doubts?
Nope.
Okay. You can note it down. You don't have to draw the diagram. Just note it down. You can switch off your videos, write comfortably, and write a little fast, okay? And tell me when to scroll down. So I'll scroll down for you. Also, Khadija and Ikra, you leave spaces for the part where, where that I'll send you the screenshots, okay?
Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Done already?
I only had to write one thing, ma'am. Indian Matilla.
Okay. Everyone is done.
Me too. I'm done.
Nope. I'll take a screenshot. Never mind.
Yeah, you take a screenshot then.
Yeah.
Now,
Ma'am, do you have to draw the diagram?
no. This is there in the book. You should, however, in fact, you should see the labelings that is there when you study, but don't have to draw it right now.
Done, ma'am.
Everyone's done?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Everyone's done?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Everyone's done?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. बिलाल 2 खाया उन्हें बैठ के
Done, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Ma'am, 1 minute. Done. Done. Done.
Everyone's done?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yeah.
Done, ma'am.
Done.
Ma'am, when the levels of the GnRH increases, it acts at the anterior pituitary gland, right?
Hmm.
So, and then after that, it stimulates the secretion of two gonadotropins. So, it over here is pituitary gland.
No, it over here is the GnR.
From the pituitary gland.
No, GnRH is released from the hypothalamus. It is a hypothalamic hormone and it acts on the pituitary. And it acts
Okay.
on the pituitary and it makes the pituitary secrete the two gonadotropins, that is luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone.
Oh, okay. Done, ma'am. Done. Done, ma'am.
1 minute, ma'am.